individuals in this city of Detroit. There are no shortcuts. We've got to do it the right way. Because when you take shortcuts and you lump everybody into the same category and you start to profile people based on the way they dress, then we got a problem. Because you see me off duty when I got my Timbs on. You see me off duty in my true religion. If I go in the wrong neighborhood, then I could be Trayvon Martin. You will make some mistakes along the way, absolutely. But you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. These are my brothers, these are my sisters, and together we will walk the streets of Detroit. We will knock on every door we need to knock on, and we will make sure that people understand that this is one united community. Now, I need everybody in this crowd to repeat after me. I am Trayvon. I am Trayvon. I am Trayvon. I am Trayvon. Hoodies up. Love y'all.
The reporters will say a few hundred people gathered at Hart Plaza. Just so you know, the Stand Your Ground law, Bertram Marks, the attorney, the general legal counsel for the Council of Black Pastors. Bertram.
At what has happened. As a black man who's also an attorney, I cannot fathom one legal reason why this killer was not brought to justice. It defies all logic. It defies all common sense. It defies the very law that those who are derelict in their duties in Florida, the very law they invoke, the actions of Mr. Zimmerman are contrary to that law. Let me break it down just a little bit. We're gonna go to law school here today. In Florida, just like in Michigan, there is a stand your ground law. My young brothers and sisters, the reason we keep telling you to vote is not because it sounds good. We keep telling you to vote because you have to understand the laws that are impacting you every day. If you don't know the way the law was written, if you can't understand and interpret that law, if you're placing people in legislative bodies that don't understand you, that don't respect you, that never walked in your neighborhood, that see your son as a criminal and not a child of God, if they don't know that just because you're wearing a hoodie doesn't mean you're going to break the law, my son's in college, wears a hoodie every day. But you have to have people who understand you. But I digress. Let's go back to law school. The law has two very important elements. The elements of the law require you to use excessive force if and only if and only if you honestly and reasonably believe that you are in imminent danger or you are in danger of great bodily harm. Now, you don't need to be a college professor. You don't need to even have a high school. In fact, one of my 6 or 7-year-old nephews can tell you that if somebody is running away from you, there is no way you could be in imminent danger or harm. We will not allow the powers that be to take a bucket of water and pour it over our heads and tell us it's raining. Today, we reclaim our identity. Today, we reclaim our knowledge of the law. You've all been to law school just now. Didn't take you very long, but I can tell you, you all got a 4.0. We won't rest until we get justice for Trayvon Martin. Let's be proud of them. Everybody that has stood up for this young brother, let's be proud. And I echo the sentiments as I close of everybody else who has said today and who will say today that let this be the wake-up call that we need to stem the tide of violence in our own neighborhood. It doesn't have to be either or. We're speaking up and out against violence in any form. And it doesn't matter whether you're Zimmerman from Florida or Johnson from Detroit. If you murder an innocent, then you must be held accountable. God bless you.
Injustice has been done in Florida. A gross injustice has been done here and is being done every day as we lose our sons to a system of oppression, to a system of profiling, to a system of incarceration. And so I stand here today with you to say that we've got to continue to fight. The question is, what do we do here in Detroit? What do we do to save our children? What do we do to save our sons? And as the attorney Bertram Marks indicated, we've got to be active at the polls. We've got to be active in our state legislature. It makes absolutely no sense to cut the safety net out from under poor families who are trying to raise their children. It makes absolutely no sense for us to allow ourselves to be subjected to these get tough policies that result in a disinvestment in our children. Now, as I stand here, I say to you that as we approach this issue, we need to do it with balance. Because the victims of violence need protection. When there's a death as the result of violence, we actually lose two lives. We lose the life of the victim, and we lose the life of the perpetrator. And so as we approach this problem, we need to make sure that we have the kind of strong system that embraces and corrects and addresses the issues that we face toward reducing the violence in our community. My prayers are out to all families who have lost children to violence, and I stand with you. Thank you very much.
There you go. You're learning a lot today. Connecting the tragedies. Please welcome the Reverend Wendell Anthony, Pastor Fellowship Chapel, President of Detroit NAACP. Thank you, Mason.
Has been around the world. It is an international issue because all of us who believe in justice believe that this is the kind of spark and injustice that brings people together regardless of who they are. One cannot look at what happened in Florida and not be concerned about injustice. One cannot look at what occurred in Florida and begin to think that somehow Lady Justice lifted up her blindfold and saw who was standing in front of her and judged him not by the content of his character, but by the color of his skin. And so we must be very clear as we came together as UAW, Labor, as we came together as NAACP, as we came together as DABO, as we came together as LACED, as we come together as the Arab Civil Rights League, as we come together as Detroit 300, as we come together as the National Action Network, as we come together as Rainbow Push, as we come together as the police department is our city, as we come together as Detroit Council of Baptist Pastors, as we come together with young people, old people. Obama, before he became president, was not wearing a hood. Eric Holder, before he became a U.S. Attorney General, was not wearing a hood. The issue is not the hood. The issue is those who are no good when it comes to shooting down folk in the streets and walking, trying to have dignity and respect in their lives. And so let's not get this twisted. They're even now trying to dirty up Trayvon Martin. They're trying to throw dirt on him as they've already killed him. They're saying that he somehow had marijuana in his system. He somehow was using some kind of substance